Hello all. In this session, we are going to talk about the quicksort algorithm. It applies divide and conquer technique which divides a problem into several similar subproblems that are solved recursively and solutions to these subproblems are then combined to get the solution to the original problem. In each iteration, the quicksort algorithm works by picking a pivot element, then it partitions the array around the pivot element. At the end of each iteration, elements less than the pivot element will get placed before the pivot element and all the elements greater than the pivot element will get placed after the pivot element. And the pivot element itself, it gets placed at the correct position. So basically, three things are happening in each iteration, and they are: the pivot element reaches its final position, elements smaller and greater than the pivot element lie respectively at left and right side of the pivot element. Any element can be chosen as a pivot element. As such, there is no restriction. During the discussion, we are going to opt the last element as the pivot element always. So now, first, we will have a look at the partition procedure that will do the task of putting the pivot element at its correct position, and also it rearranges the other elements. The partition procedure uses several variables, and they are P, R, I and J. P and R represents the lower and upper indices of array which are to be considered for sorting. P will represent the lower index and R will represent the higher index. So the element at position AR will be treated as the pivot elements, and it is stored in a variable X here. The variable J is used to traverse the array, as you can observe it at line number 4. And lastly, variable I, it is used to mark the boundary between the elements which are lesser than and greater than the pivot element. And the variable I, it is initialized to P minus 1 at line number 3. Now the logic is element at index J is to be compared with the pivot element at index R of the array. Here we have assumed that A is the name of the array. So if AJ is greater than AR, then increase J by 1. We don't have to do anything if AJ is greater than AR. On the other hand, if AJ is less than equals to AR, we are talking about line 5 here because AR is equals to X and nothing else in this code. So if AJ is less than or equal to AR, then we have to increase the value of I by 1, and then we have to swap the elements AI and AJ. In this way, we have to scan the complete array. And then at the end, we have to swap the pivot element AR with the element at index position I plus 1, as it is written at line number 8. And then lastly, the partition procedure will return the partition point at line number 9, and it is always returned as I plus 1 at the completion of the procedure. To understand it properly, let's execute the partition procedure on an example. Here we have to consider the complete array. So P, it will be initialized with the first index, and R is to be initialized with the last index. J, it is equals to P, and I, it is initialized with P minus 1. Now we have to compare AJ and AR. If AJ is less than AR, then increase the value of I by 1 and swap AJ and AI. Else do nothing. That is, we have to only increase the loop variable J by 1 if AJ is greater than AR. So here AJ, it is equals to 2 and AR, it is equals to 4. So 2 is less than 4. Thus, we have to increase the value of I and swap, that is 2 is swapped with itself. Now we have reached the element 8 as is marked with J now. Is 8 less than 4? No, it is not. So we have to do nothing. We will simply increase the value of J by 1. Now we have reached the element 7. Again, 7 is not less than 4. So, increase the value of J, and now we have reached the element 1. Since 1 is less than 4, so we have to increase the value of I by 1, and then we have to swap AI with AJ. That is, we have to swap 8 and 1. So we have swapped 8 with 1. Also, the loop variable J, it will also get increased by 1. So, J, it is at element 3 now. 3 is less than 4. Yes, it is true. So, increase the value of I by 1 and swap AI with AJ again. So, we will exchange 7 and 3 now. So, we will get this array. And also J has reached the element 5 now. Since 5 less than 4, it is not true. So we have to check for 6. And finally the loop will terminate as 6 is also not less than 4. At this point one may observe that elements which are less than 4, they are together at the left end of the array. And elements which are greater than 4, they are lying at the other end of the array. Finally, in order to complete the partition procedure, we have to swap I plus 1, that is element 8, with the pivot element, that is 4. So we have done with the swapping, and with this we have finished with the process of partition now, and the pivot element 4 has reached its correct place. Left part of 4 is having elements 1, 2 and 3 which are less than 4, and right of 4 has all the elements which are greater than 4. So this is actually the first iteration of the quicksort algorithm. Now the process of quicksort gets repeated for each of the two parts, that is left part and right part of the array separately. That is, left part will have elements 2, 1 and 3, and right part will have elements 7, 5, 6 and 8. We have to apply quicksort algorithm on these two parts separately. And the same has been shown with the help of algorithm here at line numbers 3 and 4, where we are calling the quicksort procedure again for the left part and the right part of the array A, which is partitioned at an index Q. Also, we have to execute the quicksort algorithm only if P, that is representing the initial index, it is less than R, which is representing the end index to be considered for sorting. If the condition at line number 1, that is if P is less than R is true, then one has to call the partition procedure, which will return the index of the element which has reached its correct position. Now one has to call the quicksort for left part indices which are ranging from P, that is initial index, to Q minus 1, and for right part indices will range from partition point Q plus 1 to R. And that's it. First call will happen for 0 to n minus 1, that is for the complete array. This is the partition procedure which we have already discussed. If we talk about the example we have just taken, then it has 8 elements. So first call will happen for a, 0, 7. We have just executed the partition procedure taking 4 as the pivot element, which has returned the partition point at index 3. Now the quicksort procedure is executed for index position 0 to partition point minus 1, that is the index position 2. Since we are taking last element as the pivot, that is we are taking element 3 as pivot now, and it is at its correct position already, and thus the partition point now obtained is index position 2. This will make two calls to the quicksort algorithm, one with indices 0, 1 and the other with indices 3, 2. For 3, 2, we have 3 greater than 2, so no execution will take place because initial index should be less than the end index. And the execution for 0, 1, it will take the element 1 as pivot and return the index 0 as the partition point. And also it will call the quicksort procedure for the indices 0, minus 1 and 1, 1. In both the calls, nothing will happen as neither 0 is less than minus 1 nor 1 is less than 1. In a similar way, rest of the calls to the quicksort algorithm gets executed and we get a sorted sequence at the end. The worst case complexity of quicksort algorithm comes out to be theta of n square, and it happens when partition takes place such that the size of one subproblem is 0 and the size of other subproblem comes out to be n minus 1. That is, partitioning is not balanced. However, in all the other cases, quicksort reports a complexity of theta of n log n. Also, it has no other space requirement. So, quicksort algorithm is one of the mostly used sorting algorithms as it reports a better time complexity with no extra space. Thank you.